Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing my top 3 option plays for the week, and this is where I look at a couple plays that I'm looking at putting on next week. I may not necessarily put them on, depending on if things change between now and when the market opens, but more than likely, you'll see me put some of these plays on. Uh, as I always like to say, don't just paratrade any trader that you see on YouTube. Make sure you know why they're putting it on, and if you know how to manage that trade, and if it fits your risk profile. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so first off, I'm looking at PayPal. And what I'm seeing here is after earnings, there's a giant dip off a lot of volume. RSI is really oversold right now, so I think it's more likely to go up than down. So I can be fine selling some puts on PayPal, and that's what I'll be looking at. If we look at some news, it looks like some news just came out. And pull this up real quick. Basically, they're looking at making a super app that will let them get into some new stuff to make revenue. And you can look at this if you want to. And if you didn't see where I did that at, let me switch screens here. If you're in Thinkorswim, there's this thing on the bottom here called News. If you click that, that'll open up this window, and it'll just show you some news about it. Sometimes it's not directly related to the company, but just the industry it's in. It's like the first one here is all about cryptocurrency and how Bitcoin might be an inflation matcher. Anyway, back to this. So I'll be fine selling puts like pretty much at the money here, because I think it's more likely to go up from here than down. And looks like the support would be about 190 here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trades here. Add simulated trade. We got PayPal. So what I'm looking at is a little longer of a play because I wanted some extra premium. And I guess you could actually see. I'm not gonna do that. What I'd be looking at doing is selling the 200 here, which is actually a pretty close to the money. The delta's 35. I usually don't go beyond 30 delta, so you might want to just do the 195. You might be a little safer. Or you can go as safe as like 170 and you still get that 1% return. So any one of these puts I think will print. It's just a longer hold, so I want more premium. And I just think it's more likely to go up. So I'm fine with being a little bit more aggressive on this play. So I'll be looking at selling the PayPal 200 put for January 22nd. Next up, I have Airbnb. And on this guy, what I'm looking at is selling some bear call spreads. So obviously after earnings, it bumped up here. And it looks like it hit some more tops here, like some resistance going back. Hit that resistance, came back down. I think it's likely to go down from here. Again, RSI is up as well. So I'll be looking for some bear call spreads because I want to define my risk if I'm wrong, which is why I never go naked on calls here. If I go to analyze, I'm looking at the December 31st. For me, in my portfolio, December 23rd as an expiration date is off limits because I have a lot of plays on in that area. So that strike is off limits for me right now because I want to diversify my days, to take a little risk or volatility off my portfolio. So what I'm looking at is I want to be pretty far out of the money here, and I was looking at the 240. So I'd be selling the 240, buying the 250. Hopefully we get a fill of about 360 for the put, and then when we buy this, maybe we'll get it for like 270. And if we look at that risk profile, obviously it's not gonna make you a lot of money because the premium difference here is very small. And the max gain for this, if we get that fill price, would be $90. Max loss would be 1,000, just about, or 910. If we go back here, let's look at the delta. So the delta is 20, so it has an 80% chance of expiring out of the money, which sounds pretty good to me. And I may be looking to put just one of these on just because, it's PayPal. It could go up, but let's spread our bets out more. So just one of these is a defined risk position because I'm selling the 240, buying the 250. There's a $10 difference. Multiplied by 100. So my max loss is going to be $1,000 on this play. So picking up what was that, 90 cents for $1,000 risk. All right, next up we have MTTR. And again, this is another stock that seems to be taking off. If we're looking at the volume, it looks like if it does come back down from this area, we'll be looking at the 1940. Let's go ahead and draw like a Fibonacci real quick. So I right click, do that. You look for a defined top. Looks like we'll go right there for the defined top. Let's look at how these fibs are working. Doesn't look like it respects the fibs too much here, so it's not too helpful. But again, if I'm selling at below this volume of 19, actually I'd be looking at 1750. So let's just see where that is on this list here. And I think that's pretty low. It's below all this price action for the last couple months here. If we go to the trade, or analyze, sorry. I was looking at the December 17th, 1750. If you look, that's just a lot of premium for that risk there. So $50 on 1,750 risk. And I think there's a pretty good chance of it not getting there. The delta is actually 15. So that's pretty good for, my place at least. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. This is looking at like a 2%, maybe 3% return on risk here. So that's pretty cool. So that's another one I'm looking at. I'm not too familiar with the company. I just like the chart setup here. So this is purely a chart play here. And then a bonus point, I'm going to do one more here. Good old Roblox. As you know, this guy shot up after earnings. It made some new highs, but I don't think it's going to go much higher than that. So I'm going to be looking at selling some bear call spreads. Again, you can see the RSI is up, which you'd expect because it gapped up last week. Going to the Analyze tab, I'm looking at December 17th, and I was looking to sell the 140 and buy the 150. On the call side, selling the 140, which is 18 delta, and then buying the 150. Again, create a nice little bear call spread. Should collect a nice little premium here, maybe of about $1, depending on the fill prices we get. So risk 400, get 100. And I'll be looking to put one of those on next week as well. And that pretty much wraps up this video. If you guys have any ideas for trades for next week, go ahead and leave some comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking going into next week. And good luck, guys.